Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, you guys. It is your girl, Miss Honey, here with another Power Book 2 Ghost review. This is the second episode of the second season, and it was good, you guys. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to know what you guys thought about this episode. Put it down below. This episode, I really got a heavy original Power season 1, season 2 feel. I was all in my nostalgia feelings. There was a lot of double. As a matter of fact, this episode is called Selfless. It should have been called the double because there was a lot of double crossing, right? Within the family, within the Tahata family, double crossing. With Tariq, there was a lot of double crossing. As it pertains to this whole Jabari murder mystery debacle, a lot of double crossing. And there was some things left open, and at least we have the luxury of guessing at what's going on, right? Like, I miss that. I miss being able to not see the plot line, like dropping in all of these what moments, like what? I enjoyed that. I like a little bit of a chase. I don't like being able to see the storyline coming from a mile away. And that's what we got a lot from last season. Even episode 1, you guys know I was just like, oh, can I do this? Episode 2 did not disappoint, okay? Did not, right? So let's get into it. Like I said, the episode should have been called the double because there was a lot of double crossing going on. In order for us to unfold this, we're going to have to start with Monet and the Tahatas, right? Because even though the episode started with Tariq and this horrible nightmare that he was having, really the Tahatas dominated this episode. So a lot of what was going on with them will be able to knit in a lot of our other characters just through what has happened with the Tahatas. Let's just talk about Monet first. It is her 22nd marriage anniversary, and she's just not feeling it. She's tired. She's got a lot of balls in the air that she's juggling, a lot of responsibility. She has major control issues, especially as it pertains to the kids, Drew, Kane, and Diana. And it's just all coming down on her. She wants to reinforce the bar, windows, and all that stuff. You know, Drew got shot at the bar. And she wants that to be a secure place for the stash and for their money. So she's having all the windows and stuff done, bulletproofed and bars on them, all of this stuff. But she's also trying to keep Diana in control. Diana wants to go to school for accounting so that she can not only keep the drug books, but she can also help manage Zeke's finances, because we found out last episode that Monet's big idea for a plan B to get out of this drug game is all riding on the ankles, okay, on the rotator cuff and Achilles heel of Zeke, right? All of those things gonna have to be strong, baby, because you carrying 3-4 other people, your entire family basically on your back, right? So you're gonna need strong ankles, right? We can't have no snapped ankles in your future, Zeke, right? The family is dependent on your rotator cuff, your Achilles heel, okay? Achilles tendon, I don't know, whatever. So she wants to manage those books as well, you know, take care of his finances so no one will be stealing for him. And her grand idea is she's going to go to school. And Monet is like pish posh. You can't be educated and be in the drug game. It's the most, like I've always said, how she's trying to hold Diana back is Diana, out of all of the kids, should resent her the worst because she doesn't want Diana to be great legitimately. She only wants Diana to choose the drug game. And I just feel like it's her entire life. Why would you want your daughter to take all of her eggs and put it in that basket and you yourself are exhausted and burned out? Monet. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Every time Diana comes up with an idea to better herself legally, ethically, right, morally, Monet poo-poos it and tells her she's just trying to be slick and get out from underneath her thumb. You're just trying to get over there and be fast with Tariq. Or possibly she's trying to live her own dad burned life, ma'am. Drew is, as far as I'm concerned, a can of cream corn. He is soft as cream of wheat. You know what I mean? He's just the watered down cream of wheat. Like, he's sickeningly weak. It's driving me nuts. He's a can of cream corn. He just is. I mean, there's a few chunks in there, but for the most part, it's all cream. Has nothing to do with him being gay, but the fact that he can't shut his dad burned mouth. He's double. Okay, crossing Monet every chance he gets. He's resentful of her because he got shot, right? You're in the game too, dude. You're in the game too, right? Like, whatever. But every chance he gets, he's talking out of school. He's gone down to see Zeke, and he's told Zeke about Monet's plan to take the whole family and sit them firmly on Zeke's shoulders so that Zeke can take care of them for the rest of their life, right? He tells Zeke this, right? Like, what is Zeke supposed to do with this information? But then himself become resentful. Then himself get under pressure, and which it leaves him to more likely snap an ankle, right? Break a leg. I mean, come on, Drew. He also meets with Kane and tells Kane all about how the family is in desperate need of a connect because the last dope stash they had, they were riding on, the last good dope stash they thought, it turned out to be powdered sugar. Tells Kane this. Tells Kane that his mom is in a desperate way, right? He's a can of cream corn. He is maybe consciously, maybe unconsciously, always kind of turning up Monet in an effort to put her down, in an effort to get someone else to see or say or agree with him that she's not awesome, that she's the problem. He's always telling the business. The problem with that is that you could end up getting Diana killed, your mom killed, you killed. Like, having a hole in your jaw, not being able to hold in information is bad for business, especially when you're in the drug game. It's just what it is, right? And so we get to see the results of that chatter play out, the residual effect of that play out in this episode. Kane, on the other hand, he has figured out a way to get back in with the family. All of the drugs that Monet picked up were perfectly good drugs. Last week we saw her give all of those drugs over to Tariq to sell down at the college. Like, he's their number one dealer at this point. No one else is dealing. It's just Tariq. Tariq puts all those drugs in the trunk of Braden's car, and Kane, I'm going to get it right, I promise. Kane has stolen those drugs. and replaced it with powdered sugar, thereby double crossing Monet and the family in a sense, thereby putting himself in a position where they need him. Okay. And he is then accepted back into the family because he's got a connect. Now, his connect is Dante. We know him as Dante through Monet. I don't know what the street name is that Cain calls him, but yeah, this character, Dante character, was a good choice for us this season because he alone brings in this element of the original power. He is brutal. Who was the guy that was to connect for Ghost and Tommy, the one that they ended up burying? He was brutal too, but he was such a flamer. I forget his name, but this guy Dante is kind of similar. I mean, he has a lot of machismo, right? So he's not giving us that vibe, but he is brutal. He's vicious. Like, he makes this show what it originally was supposed to be, was like this cutthroat, like no holds bar type situation. Cain comes over to see him, and he's having a talk with Cain, and he's going to offer Cain, to join in with his group and become a part of his group. And Cain, who is friends with this GTG guy, not friends really, the guy really works for him by force. And this is the guy who's always on video. He's always videoing everything on live, And the guy follows him over to Dante's condo. And when he comes in, he's videoing. And Dante's having none of it. He immediately gets the guy in a hold and breaks every finger. Just plop, 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 plop. I was like, oh! Finally. I get a season 1 power vibe, from all of that. He has the chef put in his earphones, right? And the chef's making fresh sushi, baby. He looks up, but he don't care, right? I am not in this. And then he puts Cain, and he puts this guy out, broken hand and all. It is good. It's a good moment. We later on get to see where Cain brings the stash that he stole, presents it to this connect, and also offers up his mom's information as the person who they'll be providing the drugs to. She's going to be the person that needs this new connect, and she moves a lot of weight. It's a good opportunity for us. Well, he knows it. Dante knows it. Monet has been listening. She's been singing this same 1980s, 90s Camaro drive past, playing all of these 80s, 90s love songs. New edition, I think. Can you stand the rain? Oh, can you? Yeah, okay. And then she's just like, And so it's like, what's going on with Monet? Then we finally get to see, she hears some noise outside. Now, she has bought into this whole Cain thing. She pushed back a little bit, but she bought into this whole Cain thing. She really has no choice. So she's gone to Cain. She doesn't apologize. She gives him the rules and tells him he can get his stuff and move back in. So they all there having dinner, and she hears a rustle outside, and she goes outside and she sees both trash cans turned over, right? Laying on the side. And it's a signal that she recognizes, right? Okay. That signal was left by Dante. Apparently they were teenage sweethearts or something. Listen, she's tired. She tired of being a long distance wife. She ain't got Ramirez no more to bounce up and down on. And Dante's a good looking guy. He's a good looking guy, right? Okay. And he's the drug kingpin that she can have right now. She plays him off a little bit, but when she turns and walks away with that business card that he gave her, she had a little smile on her face, like she gonna get a, I'm gonna give me some of that man of mine, right? Um, Meanwhile, Diana, thanks to Effie, we get to see Effie this episode. Effie, she goes to Effie and talks to Effie after meeting her, knows that Effie runs drugs and she's in college. She wants Effie to teach her how to do it. How do you do it? Effie says it's not easy. Are you smart? She says, I think I'm pretty smart. She says, well, first of all, what happened to the stash? What happened to the drugs? Why did we end up with powdered sugar? Who had the most to gain from stealing your drugs? It gets Diana to thinking. And when Kane comes home for dinner and is accepted there in the home, it solidifies for her that Kane is probably the one that orchestrated the switcheroo on the drugs in order to get back in good with the family. What she's going to do with that information, I don't know. But she doubles, crosses Monet, okay, and ingratiates herself with Tariq all the more by telling him that Monet was really upset about the drugs, but she calmed her down. You've got to find a good place to hide that stash this time, right? Make sure you hide it well, right? She wants Tariq to think that she's got it good with Monet. Meanwhile, she's busy trying to grease her way around Monet in that whole situation. Okay? It is good. It is good. Like, everyone's kind of stepping up a little bit in terms of plots, storyline. I like it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about Tariq real quick. Tariq is under a lot of family pressure this episode. Big Mama is not coping well with everything that has gone on, with Raina and Ghost. And Ghost left her money. Ghost left her an apartment, I think. He left her a little stash of money. But she's not dealing well emotionally, and she's drinking a lot more. Y'all know she's on that yak. Well, they done got into a car accident. She done hit a parked car with Yaz in the car. And Yaz got a little bump on her forehead. Well, Tariq can't take Yaz because he's in a dorm, right? Even though he makes enough money to pay $500,000-$600,000, almost, $1 million to Davis at every turn. But he doesn't have enough money to get an apartment and a sitter. A nanny. Somebody to look after Big Mama and Yaz. He don't have enough money for that though, right? So Yaz goes into the system. And I guess they did it for our benefit. Surely they didn't do it for Tariq's benefit, to say that she's going to a good home. The social worker was like, I know these people personally. She'll be very happy there. It'll be a good home. Okay, so we've tucked Yaz away with some strangers, and we're not supposed to panic about it because according to the social worker, she'll be in a good home. He immediately goes to Davis and discovers that Sax is in bed with Davis. Of course, they're both equally slimy, right? One is the okra and the other is the slime of the okra, right? I'll let you pick which one. And he wants them to help get her out of that system. Then what are you going to do? Sax is able to get his Big Mama arraigned in court and released to go home, but she still can't take Yaz in. I'm not sure why Tasha is wherever she is and she's got this phone and the ability to call and check on situations, and she hasn't done it yet, especially to check on your youngest baby. I mean, why was she taken away and not allowed to take her youngest child with her? I mean, it's ludicrous that we have not gotten that was allowed to happen, and we still have this family element hanging over Tariq's head. It just doesn't have to be. He's already got enough of a storyline with school and being a drug dealer and a professional liar. Like the Yaz thing to me is just crazy, right? But he goes to Davis. Davis lets him know that Stacks is going to handle it. He did make some leeway, like I said, with the grandma. But he also Stacks learns because he's smashing one of the people that is helping to push through this investigation about Jabari, that not only is Tariq's name come up in it, but also Milgram. And when Davis hears Milgram's name, you can see the wheels turning automatically, because Milgram is a dirty girl. We just don't know how dirty she is. We know that she's got a lot of penis experience, right? She's proficient in the peni, right? And it's very few men that know her that don't know her. You know what I'm saying? Like, they know her. Okay, so stands the reason her and Davis at some point have smashed, right? I do think that somehow she has some connection to his brother being in jail, and she has some pull in that way. I'm not sure exactly. This is what I was talking about. The storylines being a little bit more rich and a little bit more entangled, not so easily figured out, in my opinion. What's going on with Davis and with Milgram? We don't know yet, but there is that component. Let's see. Tariq is going through it, right? He's got this phone, which is a connection to the Jabari murder, which he committed, but it's also his only way of talking with his mom. Now, I don't know why he doesn't just get a new phone and get that number and just call that number or text that number. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's happening with Tariq and Natasha situation, but this phone is not only connected to Jabari, but it's also connected to his mom. He needs to destroy it because of the Jabari situation, but he doesn't want to destroy it because it's his connection with his mom. All right. Doesn't make a lot of sense in the grand scheme of things, but those are scabs, and we're not allowed to pick at scabs here because it just confuses everything. It just makes us frustrated, right? So, yeah. He ends up tossing that phone eventually. The SIM card, breaks it up, throws it in the fire, and he does the same thing with the phone. So he does kind of handle that. Let's talk about his whole business problems, this drug business situation. This is the second time that his drugs have been compromised and stolen under Braden's watch. Now, he did put Braden in charge because he's got everything going on with Yaz and all of this stuff, which he's put lawyers in charge of that. So, it's no reason why he shouldn't be out there hustling and getting this money up, because he's got to get this money up. You put all of this in the hands of Braden, and it's Braden's car that the drugs were in. Braden has parked it somewhere, and Kane has followed Braden and gone up there and got the darn drugs. Switched them out with powdered sugar. All of this happened on Braden's watch. This is just testimony to the fact that Tariq sucks as a drug dealer. He should be going to school for law. He would be a much better lawyer. He's crooked enough and liar enough to be a lawyer, a very, very good lawyer. If anything, Davis should be his partner. Davis should be his mentor, right? He's crooked and low down and making good money at it. He should teach Tariq that game, because the drug game he's no good at. There's no reason he hasn't broken Braden's jaw, busted up his kidneys, right? Taken off a couple of fingers. Second time you've had an entire stash lost under this dude's watch. If he's not a narc, he's not the ops, I don't know what he is. I don't trust Braden no farther than I can throw him. I really don't. I don't trust him at all. At all. I wouldn't be surprised if Braden gave daggum Kane the drugs. if he wasn't working sidebar with Kane. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Right? How they found out that the drugs were switched is because he goes and drops off a load to Effie. And Effie goes to take the drugs to the people that she owes, she's going to sell the drugs to. And they find out immediately that it's powdered sugar. And he and Effie end up having to fight their way out of a situation because of this powdered sugar. Okay. And this is how Diana got into the situation, because she actually drove Tariq, which I don't know why Tariq hasn't bought a car. Why is he catching trains and rides and stuff? Stupid. All around town. But he gets Diana to bring him out to Effie so they can resolve the situation. They find Effie fine, but Braden is all beat to hell. Okay, behind fighting over these drug situations. And this is how Diana got to meet Effie. That was a whole little thing, but we don't care about that. It doesn't matter that Effie and Diana may suspect each other both of sniffing Tariq's peen. Like, who cares? All right. But ultimately, this has put Tariq behind the 8 ball. Okay. Diana has, once again, like I said, smoothed it over and supposedly has this new connect for Tariq, and everything's smoothed over. You're going to get your new drugs. Just got to find a place to hide it. Like I said, Tariq is and the girls, through all of this, Tariq's name comes up and he gets pulled in for questioning. Now at school, guess who's taking Jabari's place? And that is Tate. This puts Tate right in the middle of the story. Tate wants to run for office. He goes and talks to old boy that used to own the club that James St. Patrick had, and whose lover was originally designed the app that Tariq sells drugs on. Goes and talks to this guy, and he says, we need you to be an adjunct professor down at Stansfield because, it'll generate popularity for you, and we need to, get this colonial studies class jumped off, and we without a hitch, right? We don't need a hiccup there. And so Tate agrees. Of course, he's turned on by Milgram, and I don't know, she gives off sex kitten pheromones or something, because everybody wants her. So he's coming on to her and just being his old slimy Tate self. Tariq is gonna do this, they're talking about Selfless in class, and Tate brings up the point about you scratch my back, I scratch yours. It's not about selflessness, it's about quid pro quo, I guess, one hand scratches, whatever that saying is. You help me, I help you, basically. Even swap can't be no swindle. Okay, if you want to get country with it, all right? Even swap can't be no swindle. All right. So, the detective comes in and wants to question Tariq. And when Tariq finds out from the detective that they're leaning towards thinking Milgram had something to do with this, Tariq gets this idea to pull a double on Milgram. He's going to blame Milgram, but he does it in his Tariq fashion, where he mentions the argument that Jabari and Milgram had over at Lauren's house last season, and how it was a heated argument. Well, this is just what the detective wanted. He just leaves these little bird seeds out, and then he's going to double back and hide this phone that he was a problem for him. He's going to hide it in Milgram's office. But when he hears her outside of the office defending him to Tate, he decides against hiding the phone. So he does, I guess, have second thoughts about hiding the phone, and this is when he decides he's just going to destroy the phone. But still, him having the idea of sort of framing or directing the police in her direction, I mean, it's so ghost, right? Such a ghost thing to do. Um, but yeah, Tariq is juggling the girls, not just Milgram, right? But he's also juggling his relationship with Diana, his relationship with Effie. Effie is one of his best dealers, right? She pushes a lot of weight. Okay, Diana is his connects daughter, right? So he's got to tiptoe lightly with her too, but he's also got this Lauren situation. And every time he gets the kissing Lauren good, I mean, he doesn't get his eyes closed good before the phone is ringing and it's somebody from Monet's camp or Braden pulling him away. Well, this is not lost on Lauren. She's just like, you're such a divided person. Like every time we try to get close, you got to go and do something, you know. She throws a little bit of a temper tantrum, but the greater point is that she took him to this secret hideaway spot that no one knows about. And that is going to be the new spot for his stash. That is until someone follows him there or Braden's stupid arse there and steals the stash again. I predict a third stash steal is in play for this season. I mean, this is what we do. We wonk Tariq upside the head and take his stash, right? Like that's the main, play for most villains in this book 2 saga. Yeah, that is Tariq in a nutshell for this episode. So we did Monet, we did Davis. Like I said, Davis is super focused on getting his brother out of jail. He wants to use Stacks to do that, but something is happening with him and Milgram. Somehow I think she plays into that as well. Let's talk about Milgram. Milgram has her back against the wall. The police are questioning her. They're questioning everyone around her. They question her sponsor. And in an effort to alibi herself, she reveals that the night that Jabari was killed, she was with Zeke. Okay, so Zeke is at his dorm smashing a white girl trying to get over Milgram. She was about to break up with him, but he comes in like Clifford the Big Red Dog, and it's his idea to break up with her. She was like, okay, cool, that's fine. She gives him a little pat hug, a little church hug, pat, and sends him on his way, and then immediately drops his name as alibi. Well, he's done a press conference revealing that he's going to join the NBA and get out of Stansfield. And he's there smashing a white girl. She's a hanger-oner. And here comes the detective, basically, get dressed, put your clothes on, we're taking you down for questioning. She films it all under the guise of, you better not hurt him. But really, she's gotten this detective on tape, taking him, for all intents purposes, into custody for questioning about a murder. Probably next episode, we're going to see that tape. And hear the conversation about how this whole plan B, riding NBA coattails, is going to fall apart because of this tape and because of the double-double that Milgram did. She was a lawyer. She was in the prosecutor's office. Why is she letting this detective basically push her around and get her to have cold conversations about whereabouts without her own lawyer in play? Doesn't make any sense. Makes zero sense, right? It's like she's just trying to wait for all of this to go away as opposed to being proactive and getting her own legal counsel. So, another double-double there. And Zeke has been brought into the double-double. So yeah, let's talk about Dante and Monet, and then we're out. So when Monet sees the trash cans pushed over, She knows who it is. It's her old high school lover, right? She goes to meet him. He wants to share a Sunday with her. That used to be their thing back in the day. She plays him out. In this moment, he's not finger breaking. He is giving me Ghost and Angela tease. He really seems like he's got deep feelings for Monet. Kind of seems like he's orchestrated all of this to get back in her graces. Could he still be the ops? Possibly. I don't know. But he does seem like he has feelings for her. And this is how the episode ends. With her walking off from him with this satisfactory smile on her face. Now, in this episode, we see the return of Effie. When we see that Kane is double crossed his family in order to get back into the family, he's also at the same time being double crossed by Dante, who knows his mom. Right? It's crazy. Like, what's happening there? You're going to be the connect and her lover, but you can't work. Like, what is going on? How is this going to play out? Drew is double crossing Monet with everyone else, right? Diana is just down to get her way. And this is very telling when you try to hold on to your kids too much, you force them to make moves that will ultimately either be a detriment to you or a detriment to them. It's better to let them fly free and make their mistakes and deal with that, as opposed to having them sneak around behind your back. Diana, I think, may end up being a queen pin, and she may end up being the one that kills Monet. I'm just saying, she has the more of a propensity, in my opinion, than even Drew. Drew seems to hate her the most, but at the same time, like I said, Drew is a can of cream corn, right? Like, he don't have no pushback. There's no bite there at all, right? He's just soft and creamy. Diana has been taught well, okay? And oftentimes the student surpasses the teacher. I just hope it's not with a knife or a gun. Milgram is a real dirty girl. We just, again, don't know how dirty she is, but we know she's pretty dirty. Who is this detective? Like, why is everybody kowtowing to this detective? I just don't understand it. I hate these, this display of white privilege. It bugs me. It bothers me. It's like this white guy is walking around and he's bullying everybody. The people that are lawyers, the people that are, the professionals. Everybody has to bite it and eat it when he comes around. Like, you're able to kick someone's door in. It's just for questioning. You're able to take someone in right there for questioning. No, you ask your questions here. Or talk to my lawyer. Like, I just don't get it. Monet is like I said, game for the whole Dante situation. But Zeke is hip to her plans. And I just wonder how long Zeke is going to last. It just seems like he's not a strong enough player in this game. He, to me, is collateral. He has become collateral. Milgram has become collateral in my mind. I would love for Brayden to be collateral. I would love for Stacks to be collateral. And when I say collateral, I mean, who's going to get killed this season, right? The people that get murdered this season are considered our collateral. So I want to know who's going to be axed out this season. Who's going to be this season's collateral? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all put it down below. Did y'all enjoy this episode? I definitely did. Let's talk about what we think is going on here. What's happening with the Tasha situation? Do we even care? Is it relevant, right? What's going on with Monet and Dante? Do we even care? Is it relevant? I think so. I definitely think so. Um, how relevant? I don't know, man. Oh my gosh. Who's gonna go down for the Jabari situation? I mean, Tariq backed out on double double, double doubling against Milgram, but he's always got a double double there. Uh, who's it gonna be? Right? Kane is pressuring him to get this fixed and get this taken care of. Uh, y'all tell me what y'all think. Y'all put it down below. Listen, and until next time, honeybees. Mwah, mwah, mwah.